I'm Terry Oracle, and this is the final video on the card definitions. However, stay tuned for many more videos for reading houses, sample readings, 9-card readings, grand tableau readings, etc. So let's go through the final card definitions. The first one we have is the sun. This is happiness, the realization of your goals. So if you're working towards a goal, and you're working hard at it and you haven't reached it yet, the sun is going to indicate that it opens up and everything is bright and sunny, and it's going to be the realization of your goal. So obviously a very positive card, a lot of energy as well. So if someone's low on energy and you see the sun, then they're going to pick it back up and it's going to be a little better for them. So I know you're asking the question, if the sun is happiness, well, what is the bouquet in comparison? Well, the bouquet is more of just an overall happiness, or the finishing of something that you had started, where the sun is reaching your goals. Sort of similar, a little bit of the same, but the sun is more of a sort of an opening up, or the realization that you're going to finish what you started, everything's going to be all right, you're going to be prepared and things like that, versus the bouquet is just a general happiness or a success in something. So I know it's kind of semantics, but whatever. So the sun, if you're looking for maybe a friend or something, you don't have a lot of friends, maybe you have an opening or a successful achievement of finding that friend. If you have, let's say, a lawsuit, and you have the tower as a lawsuit, or you're going to get a degree or something like that, and this also represents education. So if this is big government, education, legal issues, etc., this could be the realization of the completion of that lawsuit or the completion of that activity. So if you're looking for that degree, am I going to get that degree? We have the completion of that, the successful finish of that, the opening up and sunshiny realization that comes with that. Now, the sun could be cut short. You could reach a goal only to find another issue or something like that. So let's say at work, you're finally done with this big project or whatever, but there's an issue with it. So look for something like that with the scythe as well. So if you're having health problems, it could be the resolution of those problems, a health problem, and then all of a sudden you have the realization of that, where you're not really going to be that sick anymore and everything's going to be okay. So that is the sun. So the next card we have is the moon. So we have the moon here, and where is the moon? Here we have the moon. So here's the 3 moon cards. So the moon is sort of represents affection in some ways, or it sort of represents love or that emotional connection. As per tarot and as per everything else, pretty much, if you see the moon, you're looking at not only intuition and emotions, but also sort of this pool of dreams and things like that, to where you're trying to figure out something. It's not like the stars to where it directs you to a place, but it's more of a creativity type thing, to where your imagination, dreams, things that occur at night. So if you have this, you could also be looking at dreams as well, and also, as per every other card and every other divination stack, the moon is your intuition as well. So you could have intuition for something, you could be sensitive to something, you could be looking at some sort of a connection to someone as well. So let's say if you have the moon next to, let's say, a man, maybe you have this emotional connection to him, or maybe you have this intuition about finding a man as well. So you have this connection to the man. It could be the connection emotionally, or it could be connection, sort of a spiritual type thing, but you also could have intuition that's guiding you towards a man as well. So if you have intuition guiding you towards money or something, or you have an emotional, or you have some sort of an emotional thing that's going to get you money, or I don't know, I'm making stuff up at this point, but you get the idea. It's an emotional connection, it's intuition, and if you combine it with this, you could be looking at a connection, emotional connection to maybe the boss, because the bear is a supervisor, or a person in power. It could also be your overall finances. So look for something like that if you get that. So you could be have an emotional connection to a group of people. So if you met a group of people and they're fantastic and you can't wait to see them again, you could be looking at an emotional connection towards those people as well. Let's say you have communication. You could have an emotional communication. So you have an emotional communication or an intuitive communication. So if you're talking to somebody, you're not sure if they're right for you or whatever, this could indicate some sort of that connection as well. And then you have the birds, which is communication, maybe gossip and other stuff. But to me, it represents a lot of social media because of the communication aspects. So you could have that as well. So overall, the moon is obviously associated with the moon. So that's that for the moon. Now let's move to the next card, which is going to be the key. So the key is an important card because this is sort of literally the key that you're looking for to something. So if you're looking for something and you haven't found it, here's your key to that. It's very dependent on other cards, like everything in Lenormand. It's sort of your key to this, or it's sort of a magic wish card. So if you're wishing for something, you're looking for something, this is an unlocker. So it will unlock, if you have books, let's say, secrets, in the book, in the closed book, you could have an unlocking of those secrets, or the key to those secrets. And it also is a very important card. If you're looking for an answer, and you're sort of searching around a big tableau, you look for the key. That is your key to the surrounding cards, or that is sort of your emphasis to that. So when the key comes up, it's gonna point you to the key to the reading, or the main point of the reading. Some books said it also had karmic relations or spiritual stuff. For me, the key, and for the people that I see on YouTube reading, the key points to something. It points to something important. So again, you could have an unlocking of secrets. This is going to be your traditional combination, an unlocking of secrets. You could have the key to your communication. You remember the birds are communication. So we could have the key to the communication. What is the key to the communication? Maybe it's a social aspect. The key to this communication could be social or groups or something like that. So you definitely want to look for what's around it. It's heavily modified by what's around it as well. So you could have the key to your finances. So you have your finances in order, or your finances are out of order. Maybe you have a key to the finances. Maybe finances are important in this particular reading, your personal finances, or maybe your boss or something like that. You could also have the key to your emotions, or the key to your intuition. So you're looking for, what is the key to my emotions? It could be something like some happiness thing that you had done before. So if you're looking for happiness or joy, could be the key to your emotions. So it could be surround yourself with something that makes you happy, makes you joyful, makes you makes you a better person. That could be the key to getting your emotions under control. So the key, again, is the key, or the focal point, for quite a few things. You definitely want to look for that as well. Let's see, you could have the key to friendship. So if you're looking for something or something you need to do, it could be key to your friendship, because dog is friendship. But overall, that is the key. One of the classic things that the key will go next to will be a book, and that is the key to opening secrets, or the opening of secrets. And when the secrets are opened, we could ask, hey, at that point, what happens? And then you could get something bright and sunny, like you could have the sun over here or something like that. So that is the key. So the next card is going to be the fish. Here we go, the fish for this deck, and that deck, and finally that deck. So you remember when I talked about jobs? So there's 3 types of jobs, and one of those jobs is entrepreneurship, which is represented here by the fish. That is entrepreneurship. That is that's going to be, you're working on your own, you have your own business, maybe you're on social media or whatever, but you're your own boss. Now you remember the fox is a 9-to-5 job. So that is a steady job. That's a regular job, full-time job type thing. This is you're going to work. You know you're going to get paid. This is a good thing here. So the child is a gig job. In other words, you're playing in a band, maybe. And the band only plays on Saturday nights. You're not getting a lot of money. Maybe you're in a part-time job where you're only working 20 hours a week. That's going to be the child. This is going to be the full-time employment, and this is going to be entrepreneurship. So you could have an entrepreneurship related to something with communication. And again, we're back to social media, right? You could have an entrepreneurship of business. So if someone asks, hey, what are my chances on YouTube? If you have an entrepreneurship next to communication, and this represents to me social media in most respects, then you could ask, how is it going to go? Well, you're going to be able to make a business out of that. You're going to be able to make a business out of that. So if you have like the mountain next to it, so let's dig up the mountain real quick. So I am wholly unprepared today. So if you have the someone ask you about that, you could have a delay, right, with a mountain, right? So you could have an entrepreneurship based on social media, but it could be a delay before you get there because the mountain always delays. So that is, but overall, if you don't have that job thing and you're looking for maybe a love reading or something like that, this represents positive change. So again, it's sort of like the stork, except when the stork appears, you're looking at upgrades, right? You remember when I talked about the stork in the earlier versions? You had the stork would represent upgrades. So sometimes you could have the stork with the upgrades, or you could have just a positive change. So again, they're both positive changes, but the stork is version 2.0 of whatever it was. So it's version 2.0. The fish is just a positive change. You're moving into a positive change. Now, obviously, the fish as well represents water. So you could have some emotional component to this as well. So you're talking about emotion, maybe your psychic abilities, maybe your intuition here. But if you have anything like that that's related to water, then you could be looking at emotions related to that. So let's go through a couple of examples. Let's see, you could have an upgrade and you could have a cut in that upgrade. So maybe it began to upgrade, but then it was cut short with a scythe. It was cut short. You could have an upgrade to your health. Hey, I've been sick. What does it look like for my future? I'm going to see the doctor. It looks better because you have an improvement or a better situation with your health. So this sort of makes everything better a little bit. So you have a better situation with your health, coming with your health, or you could have your health is going to get better, you know, just combo it out type thing. So you could have, again, with a lawsuit, well, might have to have the right card. You could have a lawsuit. You could have a better situation with that. So the lawsuit turns out better, or again, you could have those reversed as well. But as long as you're talking a timeline, this is an improvement in whatever the situation is going through. Again, you can have personal finances. Maybe your bear represents finances. Your finances are going to get better. Everything is going to improve. So you have an upping, not an upgrade, but sort of a rise in the situation that's going to, so things are going to get better. So that is the fish. Again, with jobs, it's really apparent. It could have an emotional connection or all sorts of other things. So the fish are a really good card to have around. Overall, that's a fantastic card. So here we go. So we have the anchor now. So let me find the anchor. Well, that's not the anchor. Okay, let me find the anchor for the other deck. All right, so now we have a bunch of anchors here. So the anchor is stability and security. Basically, that's it. It's stability and security. It's like if you get the anchor, you toss it overboard, and you get hooked in, and here comes the storm. You can see sort of the storm sort of hitting, but the storm is, you're going to be hold fast because of the anchor. It's safety and it's stability. And a lot of people are concerned about that these days, right? Because you have a financial situation or something and you need you need a bit of stability within that. Maybe you need stability within your romance, right? So you have a romance, you have a guy, you think maybe he's not interested anymore, something like that. You need that stability. You could have stability with love as well. So it represents stability. So somebody's asking about a job as well. They have a full-time job. They think they're going to get laid off. They think something bad is going to happen. You could have some stability tied to that. So you look at the differences in there. Again, the job, stability. So you're looking at a stability in your job maybe. So look at that. And you could have a sort of a clouded stability. So you have a stability, but it's sort of merging into the unknown, or merging into something that's not as apparent as it should be. So you could have something like that. So you definitely want to look at negative cards around this and see if the stability is being unhinged a little bit, or things like that. Now in some books it also represents addictions as well. So you could have, let's see, if this is next to, let's say, the whip, for example, you could have a bit too much stability. Here we go, the whip. You could have a bit too much stability and it could fall back into maybe an addiction or something like that. So you definitely want to look at that as a stable thing, something that's going to be there, something that's going to be stable. Any cards around it may rock that stability a little bit. So if you have the scythe or the whip or the snake or something like that, you kind of want to look to maybe it's a rock in the stability. Maybe the stability is going to be not as much as it was before and things like that. So somebody's asking about their health, and their health has been back and forth. Maybe you're looking at more of a stable health at this point. So definitely something worth looking at as well. So that is the anchor. And the last card, we're actually running early. The last card is the cross. So the cross sort of represents a bad card. It's not the best card to have around. The cross is sort of a sacrifice as per obvious religion, religious annotations and things like that. Well, that's the fish. Where's the cross? I don't see it. Anyway, so yeah, the cross is sort of a negative card. It's a heavy card. It represents sort of a pain or something coming that's not too good. As per the Christianity, it's also the pain and the sacrifice that you have to make for something like that. Now the cross also represents religions as well. So if you're sort of looking at this, you definitely want to think intensity, right? It's intense. There's an intensity to it. It brings a lot of pain. So it's one of the negative cards. You need negative cards in the deck if they're all positive. Why even bother reading? So you could be looking at maybe a painful, let's see, a painful love, right? Maybe a painful relationship. Maybe a painful relationship, painful love, something that's not exactly good for you. You could be looking at maybe a painful friendship as well. Maybe the friendship has kind of run its course a bit too much at this point, and now you're at a point where, you know, the friend's gossiping about you, or you're having issues with a friend, so you have a painful thing or bad news with your friendship. Now you could have the end of pain as well, because the scythe cuts. You remember, it'll cut short. So you could have a period of painful process, or a period of, you know, sort of moving on with a bunch of things that aren't good. And then the scythe would cut it short, or it would relieve that pain by cutting it short. And then maybe you could have a positive card on the outset of that. So maybe the key, so the pain is getting cut short, and now you have the key to whatever you need is going to be on the next card over here as well. So that's overall just a negative card. Definitely not something you want to see. You could have a trip or a passage into sort of pain, or a passage into the bad news. As well, you could have bad news about your health, if I can find the tree card. So you could have bad news about the health, or something painful in regard to your health, maybe actual pain, physical pain that you're in, or things like that. So you definitely want to watch out for this card. It's not a good card, but it's definitely something that that adds weight to the reading. So if you see this come up, it definitely sort of brings down whatever's around it. So you kind of want to watch out for that card. Anyway, that's the end of this. We'll have more videos coming soon with some sample readings. We'll do how to read inside of houses. So if you have a card in a house. How do you read that? How do you do that? And we're going to do a bunch of other different spreads, including spreads that I use on my own that aren't printed anywhere. So stay tuned to this, and thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit like and subscribe.